comes with it. So.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, I know, and we're just hoping that it's gonna continue to do that, like every year, and now and then we're gonna see what's gonna happen after that. But otherwise, it's all good. Yeah. It's a great initiative that we welcome all, and I know it was I'm sure it was a stiff competition, getting into that thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, but I think it also came at a time when everyone was creating during the lockdown period, and everyone also wanted a platform to show what they've been working on, and
exactly.
So it's a good thing, that this initiative has come, and we'll just see the pieces. I just hope there will be killer work there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Zim
style.
Zim style, yeah. It's a good thing. I've been following a lot of artists, you included. It's like, I think we are like building, or maybe creating a new genre that identifies with us, as Zimbabwean artists, as African artists. And I know I've noticed that most artists, they are becoming, conscious, African conscious. We are having maybe a lot of Pan-Africanists, coming up. I mean, by judging by the look of the works that are being produced right now. And I'm sure it's a good thing. It's a good thing that the work is taking a good dimension and breaking new grounds and not being afraid to try new things,
Yeah, of course. I think sometimes it's through experimentation, being deprived. Yeah, being deprived of the normal materials we used to create an artwork. So it's also good that people can respond in with the true narratives in their own spaces. I think that's very important.
Oh yeah. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, what was going on during, lockdown, and because it took us all by surprise, we just thought maybe it's happening in the Western countries, the European side, and then boom, it hit us. And like I was telling you the other day, that my material was almost finished, and it was. So now it brings you to that situation whereby you have to get out of your comfort zone, like you were saying. And I would really want to share with you that I discovered maybe one or two more materials that I've been using ever since. I saw myself, using Bellup. I know you're familiar with Bellup. I never used that before.
Which material?
Bellup.
Bellup.
Matsagaya. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just it wasn't more of a challenge as such, but it was maybe tapping into that space whereby you tell yourself, no, let me just try new things, and I did that. And with my working process, it was just it was quite an experience though, because it gave my work a new touch, a different dimension, a different approach. For my work, my work, it really focuses on healing and restoration, and I took that literally, like I have to, if I find material like Bellup, as I'm saying, I find it almost discarded, and then I collect it, I clean it, and I use it to my advantage. So my working process now is involving, having to use thread, sewing machines. So this restoration part of it is I'm taking it like literally. I have to restore this material, trying to get it back to its original state.
Right.
And I've seen it, giving me, a lot of, options, a lot of ideas. And I think it's taking my work in the right direction, the way I see it. So yeah. Creating work during lockdown, it was just, at first it was so intimidating. And then later on, I discovered that, I have to embrace the situation. I have to embrace what's really happening outside, a world over, and really maybe talk about that. And I don't know with you, how was it like?
The lockdown situation compelled everyone, I'm sure, to improvise, especially for us artists, improvise on how we should create work. Apart from the normal usual stuff we are used to. So before the lockdown hit, I was working on a body of work, doing my usual screen print on canvas. But the screen print process now requires its own materials and chemicals. For you to have, and if you don't have those specific materials, it's almost impossible to create a screen print. So I came to a point where, like everyone else, I had to improvise, and that's where I came up with an artwork for the National Gallery online exhibition. It was after I had to forage, for materials that way in the vicinity, with my space. It's always part of creativity, It just being able for you to create work from almost nothing, or from something which is available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. And during this time, I'm sure everybody had, enough time to like really sit indoors. Like my studio, I have a home studio. It's a small home studio, but it basically became my playground. I practically lived there. And it gave me a lot of time to think about things, to see, this world in a different, from a different viewpoint. And by so doing, I realized I was like really giving myself a chance to explore on more ideas. When you have got a lot of things to do, you're all over the place. You don't really focus on one thing and be done with that. So it really gave me a lot of time to expand and do what I was supposed to be doing, So I started on a large body of work, and I developed this this criteria whereby I would, explore on various subject matters, and by so doing, I started working on my work on series. So I developed about 2 or 3 series, whereby each series is consisting of, about 40 to 50 artworks. And I can't really say I'm done with all the series, but I am satisfied with what I did. So I developed. I really want to talk about. I really want to talk about this series that I created. It's called the Muzimundiringe series. I'm sure it has caused a bit of noise, on the social media and stuff like that. And it has taken my work from being maybe simple or to a little bit sophisticated. So if I might say, and I really like where it went. I'm sure you've seen maybe one or two works from this series I'm talking about. And to whoever who follows me on social media, I'm sure they have. And it's been quite an experience. I was really talking about what we do as a people when we are faced with difficult times and we are cornered, we don't know what to do, because this pandemic gave me and almost, I'm sure, everybody else some time to think about things that we regard as petty, things like so I'm sure it was a bad thing actually, because when it really started, nobody really knew what was happening, and in my mind I was thinking, oh man, maybe this is it. The human race is going to be extinct maybe in a few months or something like that. It was shocking. It was a nightmare. It still is, but we are getting used to it. That's one thing I love about, the human race. We embrace, and that, I think that's how we keep evolving, So this board of work was merely just it was merely just conversations, between maybe oneself and their ancestors. I try to go back in time. What did we used to do, as a people, as a nation? What would we do? We always prayed, I know that, but the channels that we used were maybe a bit different, with Christianity and all these other religions coming into play and coming into our society and all. So I just decided to go back, maybe do it traditional way, and that's why I called it the Muzimundiringe, calling on all ancestors and to help and guide and take care of their people and stuff like that. So yeah, it was quite an experience.
Yeah, it was also good in terms of it was also a time of reflection. As artists, we also need to reassess why we are into art, and that's the significance of the art creating in relation to the pandemic. So myself, I also struggled with that, questioning my practice, because I've always seen art as something that's as a solution to some of the problems that are faced by humanity. So so it was just a time of experimentation. We were actually forced to do that because it's something that we were used to. The spaces, it was like you are living in familiarity, and also trying to create from that familiarity is also a challenge. So
it is.
Yeah. So I think that's one of. So I think that's one of the purposes of art. Sometimes I think as artists, what we produce, how can it be a solution to some of the problems that that we face as the world, and I always strive to create work towards that end.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are amazing.
Hi, Valerie. You're good. I was just wondering where you at.
No, I was listening. I was listening. You guys are amazing. At least you managed to get this conversation running. I'd like to say thank you guys for accepting our invitation, and thank you for this conversation. It's really great to know of your experiences. I'd like to welcome everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Welcome to our Harare conversation, tapping the root of inspiration, creativity, and mood in isolation. And you guys have actually really talked about your experiences. So amazing. But I've just realized that with the little resources you have, you can actually make something great out of these little resources that you have. And I must say, the artworks that you created for this, the sunrise and shine post COVID-19 were actually very interesting, and they shed a lot of light as to what you can do with the little that you have. Danisile, thank you for joining us. Okay. My question to you guys is, the works you show in this exhibition, they have shifted slightly from what you've been doing. They have shifted tonally. What has influenced this besides you not having the resources? Is it now your thought processes, or what is it? With Mukudzei, it's more of installation. Yes, you do installations, but there's not much screen print on your artwork, Matendere.
Yeah.
And with you, Peter, I didn't see many stitches like the other ones. So Mukudzei, you can go first, please.
I think it's the situation of the lockdown that like as I said before, it compelled me to create something which is different with what was in my environment. I'm used to do a lot of screen. But there was a time when all the materials had run out, and out of necessity, I had to do some sort of like assemblage work. I've always been interested in assemblage work, and also trying to push myself from my usual practice of using screen print. So it's just as much as it was a bad situation, because it surprised everyone. But then at the same time, it sort of like unlocked certain potentials, certain abilities, that we were not used to.
Okay.
So it was good in that way.
So in a way, you were getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I was getting out of my comfort zone, and just trying to experiment, because with my work, I do a lot of experimentation. But this time I was experimenting with something that I wasn't using before, you know. And it's I remember talking with Peter at some point. We were chatting, and then he said, now the situation is bad, and we are just looking at empty containers of paint. But then,
true.
Just a few months later, we were also talking about having work in the studio, and then being eaten by rats. So it was very interesting, the shift that happened you know, during this time. But it's always an artist's, you know, power, I think, to create from a crisis. And it's the work that usually comes from there. I'm sure it will be work of significance and really tells its time.
This is interesting. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mukudzei. Peter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like you said, the work has shifted, maybe just a little bit, or maybe vastly shifted. But the thing is, the idea, it might still be the same. The conversations might still be the same. I say this because what makes, maybe speaking for myself, my work different from what I was producing earlier it has to do with the working process. So like we were talking earlier, the unavailability of the usual, materials, and the unavailability, the limitations, they force you to do things a little bit differently, because it's now different materials, or maybe scarce materials. It has to do with maybe recycling, but still your conversations are still maybe the same. You're expanding on the themes that you've been working on before. But now what's so interesting is it's coming out differently. And I would want to believe that it has shifted to greater heights, to better, the aesthetics are, how do you say this word? Aesthetic. The aesthetic. Oh my God. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is the values and the quality of the work. It's really impressive. I would want to think. I've seen from the responses of people that have seen the work from the galleries that we've been working on, during this lockdown and after. It's an overwhelming response. So I would really want to believe that we're going in the right direction. We haven't lost course at all. We're trying to make things happen, and regardless of where we are, what we have, what we do not have. So yeah. So I think the work has become more conscious of who we are as a people, who we are as human beings, how we evolve, whether it's work related or socially related. It's so amazing how it has happened. We have embraced the situation, and now I'm sure, I don't know if we are going back into that situation whereby we are in the comfort zone as well, but I would want to think that we're going to keep on pushing and making things happen like that.
Okay.
So yeah, you were saying you don't see much stitching. It's sometimes there's no stitching at all. Sometimes there's just pasting and using paint to paste, using whatever I have to paste, maybe different kind of materials in one painting. I've seen myself, using canvas. I've never used paper that much before, but then that's all I had in the studio, and so I had to make do with what I had, and it came out, surprisingly, amazing. So yeah, we're still here, we're still standing.
Yes, forward we go.
Oh yeah.
Whilst we're on that, Peter, your work is about restoration. It also talks about society and what happens in society. And I also observed that your work also talks about gender-based violence in a way. Would you say that you're still working on that? Like during this period right now, we are in that period where we are reminding each other about gender-based violence.
Exactly.
You say you're still on this.
Yeah, I'm still on that. I'm still on that. And you know what? I have a daughter. So I think this is in dedication to her. I wanted to have all that she can have and be happy as a queen, you know. If you really want to think about it, I'm just going to talk about, you know, feminism just a little bit. The most people that we have in our lives as men, they are very dear to us. They are very important. Like, for example, we have got our aunties, or we start with our mothers, our aunties, our sisters, our wives, you know, cousins and stuff like that. These people are very important to us. And I think it has got to do with what we grew up being told by, you know, our mothers or our parents. My mama used to tell me, she still tells me that I have to respect women. I have to do that. And I would want to believe that I still do that. And so my work, I thought maybe let me just, you know, convey this message through my work and maybe remind everybody out there that women are very important. They're very crucial to this, you know, society, and we really need to uplift them, you know. So yeah, I'm still working on that. I'm still working under that same notion, and I think I'm gonna keep on doing that.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Peter. And then Mukudzei, you talk about identity and belonging. Are you still on that? Are you still touching on that, or it has become the past?
I've always wanted, you know, to deal with, you know, the condition of humans in a space. So some of it is, you know, partly what I experience in my own space, you know, and how you know, what external what external things do to people is in relation to identity, you know, and belonging. So it's what I've been working on, you know, I think for a while now, and it's a narrative that I continue to research about, because I've always like thought it's significant, you know, that we get to hear the narratives of you know, of people in certain spaces. That is how our stories vary, you know. So that is how I tell my narratives.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this new found material that you have been using, like you've used, I observed you formatting that you used pig.
Yeah.
Right. And so is this now your new direction, or you're still trying to see if it works, or you're still going to carry on with screen print? And you are a mixed media artist, but
yeah.
are you going that direction?
Well, that work I created it from you know, from lockdown, so it was much more of experimental work. And I had to challenge myself, you know, to using something which was in my space, because I couldn't go anywhere to get my usual materials. So that was the whole idea of creating, you know, that artwork, because it speaks a lot to the situation of the lockdown, and how I used to experience the lockdown in relation to objects, you know, that were just nearby. So it was created out of a lot of experimentation, and how we relate to, you know, to inanimate objects.
All right, all right. This is interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
Yeah, this is very interesting.
Yeah, because it's I think that was our life, back then. It was either your family or it was the objects that you are used to,
Mm.
So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. So you just get to create out of necessity and using the things that you use every day,
Yeah,
and then try to create an artwork from it.
no, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. I'd like to shift a little from the both of you,
Right.
and then we can get back. A brother or Bradan. I like calling you Bradan. It's more gangster like that.
Yeah,
Bradan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I didn't just want to jump into the whole process because
Yes.
first of all, let me say I'm sorry. I got in late and I hope I'm audible. Am I?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh yeah, you are.
Very
Yeah,
clear.
right. And when I got in, I just heard my fellow brothers. But and again, I missed on some pictures that you were showing, and I
Yeah.
think I saw only a few that were just amazing. Yeah, so
Yes.
I just enjoyed the simplicity of the work. And then now I'm just coming back to you again. We just experienced Zessa cut a bit, so I had to start afresh again. So I lost a lot.
All right.
Can we maybe refresh a bit on that?
Okay. Okay. Our topic is tapping the root of inspiration, creativity, and mood in isolation. And I'd like to jump into your work as well for this, the Sunrise and Shine post COVID-19. You have shifted definitely from your sculptures to graphics. Would you say this was because of lack of resources, or it's your new thought process, or what was going through your head when you were creating these works?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, a lot of people know Danisile as a sculptor.
Yes.
But if I could take them back, well, they don't know me much about practice doing when I was at school. Let me say, at Mziliga's Art Center. Yes, I did almost each and every genre that other artists were doing. I couldn't specialize. I couldn't specialize at school, whereby I could say I want to do ceramic sculpture. I want to do ceramics only, or I want to do painting. I want to do wood sculpture, or stone sculpture, or metal sculpture, or commercial art. But I just went into each and every lesson or every kind of work that we're doing as artists. So I grasp everything. So now when my process that I've sort of like, when people see it like I'm discovering myself, is not really discovering myself. It's not even reinventing myself, but it's like getting out of that box, bringing out my new feelings, depending with the situation that I'm in. For example, the COVID period. Well, I prepared myself. It's funny, indirectly, I prepared myself. I started painting, and people don't think or they haven't seen my work, my painting works. Yeah. I've done paintings during this period. I've done more of my works, like in masks, metal masks that I do. I've done, during the same period of COVID, I've done my works out of photography, because I was actually getting into town during the period of COVID. There was no one in town, and I was the only one taking photos in the city. Yeah, you know. So with those photos again, I started working on them, creating more of a graphic work using my photos. Yeah. So the process of experimenting with my camera, with my computer started. As you can see, the picture that's there now, that's me, my self-portrait, being attacked by the COVID virus, one or the other affecting me in my development as an artist. So even though being affected, I thought of getting out of that box and using the way I've been affected, bringing out, getting inspired by it, and being part of it. You see, so most of my work has really been of just getting out of the box and relaxing at home, in the peace of my home, and then bringing out good work.
Would we also say this is actually getting out of your comfort zone
With
as
this
well,
piece?
in a way?
Yes, oh, definitely. With all those pieces. And after all, the stories that we're hearing on TV during that period, you remember this painting, or let me say this graphic work that you're seeing now, right? It brings me the story of the Black American. The Black American was killed in America.
I can't breathe.
Lord, I can't breathe. You know, when I look at the situation whereby, you know, I was arrested twice by the police during this period, and I was arrested. Let me say, my arrests were not being being handcuffed, really. I was stopped and questioned, and I was told to sit down because I'm not wearing my mask in public. Right, in public. Then I asked the two policemen, what do you mean when you say I must wear my mask in public? Because the public that I was in, which is the way I believe it, okay, the way I see it, or the way I read a dictionary, there's public one and public two. My public one was the public space that you walk around with people around. It's called public space. Then the police find me without wearing my mask in that public space with no one around me. Then I get into trouble. But when I get into a space where there are people, also that's public space number two. Therefore, I need to wear my mask to protect myself and protect others. That's the way I feel. That's the way I think it should be. But not getting arrested because you're not wearing your mask just around your area. There's no one around. I don't think that's supposed to be the right way. So now, when I got to see this fellow, he was a newspaper guy selling some newspapers. So he was wearing this mask. He's sitting at the corner by himself. No one is disturbing him. No one is coming to buy the newspapers. Everyone is just passing around him, you know. But he was in this black mask. And this one is even more than the kind of mask that we're supposed to be wearing during COVID, right? This is like, I don't know whether to spray orange, you know, spraying cotton, or an army mask or something like that, you know. Yeah, so, but definitely I felt he wasn't breathing. So COVID has made us not to breathe. That's where the issue came in. So our brother couldn't breathe, Lloyd couldn't breathe. And then there we are again, COVID is making us not to breathe. So that's where my story came in. Yeah.
All right. Very interesting. I like we're using our experiences to actually we're using our experiences to talk to our art, and that's what's most important because it's closer to home. I really like that. And sorry for the arrears, okay? Sitting on the floor. No. We're also joined by Tadiwa Nashe. You were part of the exhibition. Would you like to also give us a few remarks or your experience your experiences during the lockdown and the artwork that you created? Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you? During the COVID lockdown, I was having problems with, mostly I specialize in photography. So sometimes trying to come up with a topic, subject of how to interpret, your work. Sometimes you need models, you need people to participate, and it was very difficult getting models and people to participate in, you know, making your art, because everyone was on lockdown. So that was one of the challenges I faced. And I guess I really had to adjust and try to find ways of creating my work. And in a way, I ended up using myself as a muse to just try to interpret what I was trying to create. So I guess that was one of the challenges that, you know, the pandemic really gave us in trying to create our art. And my piece was very much concentrated on mental health. And I guess during this pandemic, a lot of us feel quite trapped. Like Mr. Ncube was talking about the mask and how stressful it can be, you know. And it's just stressful, and, you know, to be in a time of feeling so much anxiety, you know, like you're scared of catching the pandemic. You're also scared of, you know, feeling lonely and sad. You know, the lockdown, some people were home alone and had no family around. So that was another challenge. And I guess I had to try and interpret that as well. So that was part of how I created the piece.
Wow. Thank you, Tadiwa. Thank you very much. Thank you also for touching on mental health. Gosh, mental health has been at the top of the charts for a very long time now, and wow, it's I don't know about you guys, Peter and Mukudzei, also maybe Brad Dan. Did you also feel the mental health issues coming through as well whilst you're creating your artwork? Because yeah, there's a lot of depression.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it had a lot to do with you know, coming to accept, you know, I think it has to do more with how we human beings are wired, I guess. We really familiarize ourselves with the norm, what we call the norm. And when something shifts, when something, you know, changes, I mean, drastically like that, it becomes a problem. And we begin to worry, we begin to, you know, having sleepless nights. Are my children safe? Are my loved ones safe? What's going to happen? What's going to become of this world? And, you know, having to do with all that, it has some effect that it has on the way we think, on our mental health, on everything. And I would like to really add that I did create another piece that I created during this COVID that was featured in an exhibition that had to do with mental health. This exhibition was hosted by a gallery in Doncaster, south of Yorkshire. It was just during maybe around October or so. Yeah, so I would really like to think that we had all these factors in mind whilst we were creating our work. Mental health is very crucial. It's very crucial, and a lot of people, they ignore things like, you know, depression and things like that. And most of us we suffer from depression, but we don't even know that. So that things that we were talking about whilst we were, you know, like making our artworks. And it all depends with who is viewing, the viewer. Are they understanding where you're coming from? And most people, they don't understand the effects of mental health. So it's a subject matter that needs to be, you know, dealt with and talked about a lot, and not be shy about it, and really try to help each other to stay mentally healthy.
Yeah, like I think like Peter, like what Peter mentioned, as human beings, we are not hardwired, to deal with such such sudden disruptions, like what the pandemic did, and it's something that came upon people already. People were struggling with the economic situation in their spaces. So it's not surprising that there will be a lot of depression, because it's not easy finding solutions to some of these problems. And I think the challenge now with us artists is how can we how can we come up with solutions to these problems, because there is a certain point where art should just cease to be just ornamental, just on the wall, and probably provide solutions for communities. And it is the challenge that we are facing right now as artists, that we need to find solutions to these mental problems. And how can art do that in communities? So that is why creativity exists in the first place. Because in the inspiration, in identifying problems such as mental health, and depression, it should come as inspiration, to artists, so that they will be able to find solutions to these problems.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. Eh?
Yeah.
It also it takes me in. Okay. Should I jump in?
Yeah.
All right. With the points from my brother Peter and Muku, it's really true. It's really true. Those are the things that come in us, right? And it really happens that mentally, our thinking capacity is actually distorted, right? One way or the other, because we're not used to such situations. But let me tell you a story which is so amazing on my part. It's really, I'm not supposed to be touching my eyes, but anyway, I'm at home. Don't worry. All right. It's really amazing how things are sometimes. Sometimes some of the things, when they happen, they become a blessing in disguise. COVID. When COVID began, okay, let me say before it began in Zimbabwe, my things were not working out well. So funny, but day one COVID started. 30th of March, that's the day one I never shaved my beard, my mustache. That's one funny story about it, right? And then for 50 days, I never shaved, and I looked totally different, like my father. All right, that's another issue, right? But the blessings that came about, artistically, I started having more work coming to me. I started painting, as I said, I had never given myself more time on painting. I started creating a lot of things, and also was one of the artists that was invited to the National Gallery of Bulawayo to create a ramp for the disabled. And during the 4 months, the first 4 months, I was busy on that ramp. And then the following month, which was the 5th month, I was also commissioned. Okay, let me say not really commissioned, because I was now in the gear within the period, the COVID period. I was in the gear. I volunteered to do a mural on the gallery gate, and also to motorize the gallery car park gate. So it was a blessing to me that I had a lot of work to do. But unfortunately, maybe as according to Peter, indirectly, deep inside, one is mentally, tipped off. it happens that you tell yourself you're okay, yeah, I'm okay.
Oh yeah.
But one way or the other, you're not.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I think we have to get rehabilitation of. Yeah, you know, it's like somebody who's high on drugs, whatever. They tell themselves they're all right, they're okay.
Oh yeah.
But it's not it, you know, it's not it. They are not feeling well one way or the other. So that's the same situation. We need that rehabilitation. I feel that our kind of work as artists, yeah, though we need that rehabilitation, our kind of work as artists, each and every artist has got the medicine to cure. Our art is actually, I usually call it, the word also disappears just like the first one, not birth certificate, not a basis, whatever you wanted to say there. I'm sorry, I'm just funny, but I just like to be so that the conversation becomes lively. All right, sometimes there's a word I wanted to use, but it's kind of like running away from me. When we work, okay, it's therapy. Art becomes a therapy.
It's therapeutic, yeah.
Exactly. So you can't be, I know, Pachivanu, Esintwini, you know, we usually say a doctor can never treat himself. Right.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not true. A doctor can take painkillers. No, it's not true. He can also take penicillin and inject himself one or the other. I'm an artist.
Oh, yeah.
You are artists. Where should one or the other be? Therapeutic, whatever the word is, that therapy, right? Yeah. So
therapeutic,
yeah, therapeutic. So the word has to really work on us, not just be a word, but it's actually practical in us, because we want to heal the world. We want to heal other people. We want to send messages to the people. Why can't the same message come back to me? If I'm talking about a person who cannot breathe in a mask, can you breathe in a mask when it's hot like this? No, it's not. So that's why you see everyone is putting a mask. They're saying they're protecting themselves from this COVID virus, but everyone is putting a mask under the nose. What's the point? So one or the other, we have this power as artists to pass on the message, and it has this power for a therapeutic power to help others. So first of all, it has to work on me.
Okay.
Valerie.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. As we are wrapping up, I'm doing my wrap up. Question. I'd like to start off with Mukudzei. You place your body in most of your work. Does Matendere have identity anchored in it?
I think the pegs that I use in my Matendere is also part of my identity, because they are used to hang my clothes. So it's I've always wanted to put a little bit of a personal story in all of my work. And I think it's not very apparent with the Matendere work, but Matendere was just about the origin of Matendere and also the containment,
All right.
of oneself in a certain space.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I get that. Thank you for clarifying. And with regards mental health, Tadiwa and Peter, has your creative energy helped you remain collected through your work?
Oh yeah, let me go first.
All right.
Oh yeah, it has. When something like this hits you and you're not expecting it, you need you need a safe place. You need somewhere that you need to be like really productive and find yourself being useful, trying to help others in a way. So yeah, it has really helped me to stay sane, to stay positive. I've really put all my energy in my work, and I'm very happy with where I am right now, with my work is heading, and I think I really want to really touch a little bit on why maybe most of our work is seemingly shifting. Maybe it's all because it has to do with the training that we had whilst we were in these practical schools that we went to. We were trying to be sculptors, printmakers. So when something like this happens, it really awakens all that talent, and you try to merge it and maybe try to put it together and bring out something that's really different, but it's not different really. Like Mr. Ncube was saying, maybe it's just because you haven't really focused on painting, really. You've been a sculptor all along, but it doesn't mean that you cannot paint, you cannot draw, you cannot, print. It's just that, like we were saying, you're getting out of that comfort zone, and all this getting out of that box, it really helps you to stay, mentally sane, mentally healthy. You're trying to not to concentrate on the things that you cannot change. You're trying to you're trying to bring something that's positive to everybody. So you tap into all that. So all that energy being brought together, it brings something that's amazing that nobody has ever seen before. So yeah, I guess creating that work and still creating as I am, it really helps a lot. I mean, in staying positive and staying mentally sharp.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Tadiwa.
I think deducting from what Peter was saying about creating something different, I think the whole process has really helped us to, come out of our comfort zones and try new things, things that are different. In my case, I'd never really worked with images. I was so used to getting models and people to come into the pictures and direct them, creatively. But in this case, I ended up merging pictures, working with blurry images, definitely more improvement when it came to editing. I definitely improved through that. So I think the whole process did help, mentally, and in a way it did keep us sane. It gave us, stuff to do, made us improve our craft, and yeah, it was actually helpful in a way.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that, Tadiwa. I'll just go to Brad Dan. Back to the George Floyd reference in your work and your experience with the uninformed services. Do you feel your work, I Can't Breathe, represents paradox of the plebeian or the ordinary person expressing themselves as authoritarian?
Let me say, am I audible? Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. But I can't see myself now. I'm trying to start the video. I can't even see. But anyway, if you can see me, it's okay. All right. The issue is like sometimes when people are in power, there are different kind of powers that we sometimes fall in. You can be a manager, you can be a director, you can be a policeman, you can be a soldier. You have this authority within you, but sometimes it's kind of like misused. There I am. I'm drawing a camera with the knowledge of not using my camera to take photos. I knew about all the laws that were put. I can't take or couldn't take photos of any uniformed guys, the police, including the army, right? But with that in mind, I wanted to take photos of people queuing, for example, so that I can use my work in sending messages. Like people are queuing at the bank when the COVID period was kind of like a little bit relaxed. People are queuing in the bank, and that 1 meter or 1 meter to 2 meter distancing is not even put. Then I am there with my camera. I'm taking that opportunity to bring out my work. So people also with this problem of inferiority, which is inferiority towards the authoritative people. You know, they tend also to imprison themselves. Instead of following the simple rule, 1 meter, 1 meter, so that they protect themselves for their good, they tend to create a blockage or massing themselves up and creating more problems, whereby you're not even protecting yourself one way or the other. So when I take that opportunity to take photos, and then there I am, it's kind of like a circle of confused people. The people in power confusing the ones who are not in power, and the ones who are not in power confusing the ones in power. It's a dog and cat situation. So with a piece, that's the Floyd piece. Let me call it the Floyd piece. I can't breathe. Well, we still can't breathe because of the situation in our country, right? Of which, as an artist, I'm also portraying that in that situation. I can't breathe. There are a lot of things that I had questions upon, especially is that at first I said the mask on part 1, whereby when should I wear my mask? Part 2, where the public is, which is the people, where the people are. And then the other question is, it's so political, though I'm not political. Let me just try and clarify that issue. There were funds that were given to each and every country in the whole world. I think, I believe that we read that one or the other. But the funds that were given is supposed to help those who are the poorer, those who need that help, or everyone in a society. But unfortunately, that kind of fund never came to other people. Even us artists, we know there was a fund that was supposed to be with us. It's not a platform to talk about that. But what I'm trying to put through is that how will I breathe? How will I breathe if I don't get that assistance from the authoritative guys, you know? And how would I make my work if I can't get my materials? There I am, I'm shut down. I'm also shut down and locked down. I need to go buy my paints. How can I do that? You know? So all those issues were actually making me not to breathe, making us not to breathe. So we still, up till now, we are not breathing.
Okay, thank you for that insight. It's very touching, actually. Thank you, Bradan. Before I open to the floor, I'll ask you all this one question. The future of work is bound to go digital as a reset is looming. As participants in an online exhibition, do you think the museum will be replaced completely by the digital realm?
Well, myself, I hope not, because there are certain things that technology cannot replace, like how we experience art, you know, in a space. You can't. How can you have to ask yourself questions like how do we experience installation online or on digital platforms, you know? So I just hope maybe this situation someday, you know, just you know, come back to normalcy, and then we get to get in spaces where we experience art, you know. So that's the whole idea, you know, of art. Sometimes it needs to be experienced.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. The physical part of it is what's most important, because that's when you're more in touch with what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's the seeing part, and then there's the feeling part, you know, when you're standing in front of an artwork. And that's very important.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I would really agree with Muku. They, you know, we have got, you know, various genres of arts that are out there. You know, we've got that. What about those interactive arts? And you need to touch. You know, you need to see. You need to really experience the presence. You need to smell it. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. So I think maybe the best way to go about this, or we hope that maybe it's gonna go digital. Yes, there are not two ways about it, but also we need the physical, you know, interaction with art. And because I would really want to think that art is very social. It brings people together, and it is really more to do with coming together, interacting, you know, connecting, and talking about, you know, things, talking about art, you know. So yeah, I really hope that it's not gonna be just digital. It's gonna be both, I guess.
Adding on to Peter's contribution, I think the gallery experience is also very important. You know, certain works you just need to, you know, see the texture. Some of them you need to feel the texture. So the gallery experience is very important, and I think it can never be replaced with the online experience.
Okay.
True.
Thank you. Braden, you still there?
Yeah. Yes, it's true. It can never. You need to see, as my brother Peter and sis Tadiwa there, you need to see the work. You need to enjoy the real color. Colors from our digital gadgets is not real. It's not real, really. You need to smell it. Yeah, you smell the paint. You need to smell paint. You need to smell the wood or the rotten bonds or the smelly bonds that somebody has just done an installation with. You know, that part of the sense, we miss it. We miss it when we use digital gadgets. But with that in mind, okay, let's put it that COVID comes in for more of 3 to 5, 10 years to come. We have to shift. Maybe we need to now create or use our digital cameras in a proper way. You know, we need to zoom up. We need to see the texture of our painters. We need to see the real texture of metal, the texture of the bond, the dirtiness of work, the creativity of those artists in their work. We need to get deeper. So we need to prepare ourselves. We have to, again, jump out of the box, get out of the box, see whatever COVID brings us. If it brings us things, let me say, when I say things, you know, those little chips that children like, things, you know, the fluffy chips. If COVID brings us that softness, we do it softer. But if it brings us hardships, let's be also harder on it. As artists, we need to really definitely send that message out there and bring good work to the people.
That's very true. Thank you very much for that contribution. Livingston Shepard says that's sentimental value. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we have a comment and a question from the Project Room Namibia. They say, wow, it's great to see how this crazy pandemic challenged all of you to create new work. The question is, to all of you, would you say the isolating of the lockdown as well as the unavailability of materials made you concentrate on the essence of your art?
Oh yeah, it did. It did tremendously. You know, I got to, the feel or the taste of maybe sort of a residency, I guess. Right now, the other portfolio, I think I named it the quarantine residency portfolio. Yeah, I sort of put myself in a residency situation whereby I really got the chance and the time to really focus on what I wanted to focus on and focus on my work. And yeah, by staying indoors, to some people it was really, really boring and really, really, hectic but I decided to skip all that and focus on the work that I was supposed to do. And it has paid off, I tell you. And yeah, so working in isolation, yeah, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay. You need that interaction. But now what can you do when you don't have the opportunity to go see Mukudzei or Mr. Ncube, or and ask for direction and on all that. Of course we are used to do that. I would visit somebody in their studio and see what they're doing, because I believe work evolves that way, by studying the work of other artists, physically, like we were just talking. So now we can still do that digitally, but we're used to, the physical, the actual, in presence of, other artists, talking, confessing and stuff like that. But I really want to say that it gave me the opportunity to really focus, to really try new things and not be afraid. And then when I took that work out there, it was a positive, response. And yeah, I'm actually grateful.
Wow, yeah. I love the positivity, sir. Wow.
Blessing these guys.
For me, it was a time of reflection, and asking myself, why am I creating art? And can it be a solution to what is happening now with regards to the pandemic? It's cultural ambassadors, how can we help, as artists in solving this problem? And I was thinking this other day that when I was growing up, I don't remember going to a pharmacy, whenever you want a cold. I remember we used to take lemons and then the soft leaf ends of the guava tree, and then the gum tree, and then it will be mixed both together, and then that will be the medicine for colds and flu. But how does the other cultures do it? How do the Ndao people do it? How do the Rele people do it? So I think if we this was just me thinking, this can be us, like putting out awareness in terms of how we can use indigenous, medicines to cure some of these problems.
That's a very valid point.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much. Anything from Tadiwa and Bradan?
Okay. For me, isolation was the time of actually tapping into opportunities. It did help me look for opportunity and search for what's there. Because many times, like a lot of us before the lockdown, people were busy. Maybe people were busy with work, people were busy with art. But it was also a time where, you could really reflect and look for things to do, So it did help me tap into more opportunities. For me, I had been sleeping a lot on my art, and isolation actually helped me tap into getting more involved and back into it than before. So it did actually help me, and I managed to get into a few exhibitions and also spend time with family, reflect on what I need to improve, experiment, and yeah, it was helpful in a way.
Oh wow, it was a blessing in disguise.
Yes, it was definitely a blessing in disguise.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gosh, we have run out of time actually. Actually, guys. This is a very interesting conversation, and this is the last one. Okay, the last one from the National Gallery of Zimbabwe, which says interesting. Within essence, was the imitation of nature the main driving force in tapping for inspiration, or was it your creation of reality that was essential?
Well, it was both.
Okay.
Because nature is always available, you know, and also is a source of material, and and also the reality, you know, that you can't get material from elsewhere, you know. Just you know, sort of like helped us, you know, trying to create work with you know, using what was available.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was also part of your source of inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and agree with Muku right here, because yeah, it was kind of both, because all these elements they play a very important as well. But on a more positive note, I try to take all the negativity and try to bring out something that was positive out of a very, very difficult situation. So it was kind of both.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you again for your positivity.
Oh yeah.
Well, on my part, Valerie,
yes.
right, let me say first, I was isolated before isolation.
Oh.
And yeah, how so? They don't call me homeboy for nothing. That's my nickname I was given when I started art. I've been isolated, homeboy, yeah. If you check all you know, you find out a homeboy is always at home. So I was also isolated, always at home. My materials, I stock my materials at home. I do my work at home, and I just take my work to galleries when it's time to. So isolation wasn't new to me because I was isolated anyway. And the other thing I like about positivity is that without negativity, positivity plus negativity to me is equals fire, more fire. So we both need the two, positivity and negativity. Once we take those two together, we have more fire, which is more works for us artists.
Wow, more fire.
Yeah, more fire.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Tadiwa.
For me, I think it was both as well. In a way, we had to recreate our reality. You know, things were different. Life was different. Things had definitely changed. So for me, I think both were important, and you know, the imitation of nature. You know, it was part of it as well. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm so sorry that we took longer than we should have, but thank you very much. Mukudzei, Muzondo, Peter, Musami, Tadiwa, Murowe, and Danisile Ncube. And all of you here, thank you so much for joining us. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you for all your contributions. And yes,
you're welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your day. See you soon.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, please may you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nat Gallerism.
Oh, yeah. And definitely.
Can I also introduce?
Oh, okay. Yes. Hello?
Let me put my
Sorry?
phone.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, you are.
Oh, thank you guys for the presentation. It was quite interesting. I've been going through and through listening to every detail, and I could learn so much. Being someone new as a curator here, I'm still taking time to listen and to learn a lot of things, especially on the impact of the COVID and the lockdown. And like some of you guys have been telling me that it has been time to work on a creativity, time to seek more opportunities. It has been about blending negativity and positivity for more fireworks, something like that. And I think someone was telling me that there is this therapeutic effect of art. And I think Valerie could look into how best the art could be placed somewhere near the hospitals. We've got a lot of patients who just need that kind of art to be healed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But we'll be meeting and chatting as we work in this field. And thank you so much, guys, for supporting this platform. We need to keep connected. This is the new normal. So
Oh yeah.
it serves you well, though it has got a cost if you got the bundles. But because it's the new normal,
Yeah.
I think it's good to embrace. It's good to embrace, actually.
Exactly.
So
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
guys for support. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Guys, that was our curator for education, Mr. Livingston Chefa. And thank you for that contribution. And yes, you're right. We need to look into placing arts in these hospitals and also mental institutions and all sorts of communities, like Peter had mentioned. But yes, this was good. It was good seeing you all. Thank you again. Till next time.
All right.
Oh, thank you all.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.